Hi everybody, this is a companion video to my 2021 BMW F900R oil change. I am now at the heady heights of, if you remember, I didn't have that many miles on the bike when I got it. I still think that's the best display in the business. 6,555 miles. So this will be its third service. So it had a service with the dealer, then I serviced it, which went up on YouTube, and this is now its second service with me. If you are fed up with the Garmin mount that's on your motorcycle, I can highly recommend this Foxwolf mount. You just pop your iPhone in there, wirelessly charges it, and it plugs into all of the existing infrastructure. I think I paid £25 for it delivered, and it's been really good and saved my bacon so many times, especially when there's a diversion in place, an extended diversion on the A303. Whew, it's been really, really good. And of course you can tilt it and angle it. I guess, look on the internet and you can find them. If I can link to it, it'll be in the description. The only difference is I'm using a K&N racing oil filter, so I'm using a 17mm just to pull the oil filter off. But I think in my previous video I showed you what cup to use for the standard oil filter. So 3 litres of fully synthetic 5W40. You've got your T50 Torx 3/4 drive. You've got your 5mm hex. I've got a little extension. Got my 1/4 drive, got my 3/8. Let's get cracking. One of my plans for this video is I'm gonna extract the oil from the bike, and then I'm going to see how much oil ends up in this bottle, just to see if it's burning oil. A few owners have mentioned oil burning. I haven't experienced that, but I was just going to pour out the oil anyway and measure what I've got left. It's not an exact science, but it'll give me an idea. And yes, I've still got the charcoal canister attached to mine. I've pretty much kept it standard, apart from basic maintenance. I haven't modified the bike. It's a good bike, it's great. Oh, what the hell? Well, that's something worth looking for. You learn something new every day, right? That's quite a lot of sweating of oil. And I've had the sump gasket done under warranty as well. I wouldn't say that's good. Okay, I'll contact my local dealer and see what they've got to say about it. As per my previous video, get that T50 bit up and in as far as you can. That was tight. The last person to tighten that up was a dealer, but that's entirely up to them. That's what the colour of the oil was like. Not bad. And also no metal on the magnet. Happy days. So while it's dripping, before I get that 5mm hex up in there, let's have a quick look. So that cross washer's looking fine. So one of the things I haven't done is I haven't undone my filler cap. The reason I haven't undone it is because we have crankcase breathers, and a lot of YouTubers will tell you that you've got to remove this to allow air in so the oil drains. They're not mechanics. These people are just influencers. Yes, you have crankcase breathers, and there's absolutely no point in doing this. In fact, removing all of this just allows whatever you want to ingress into your bike. So I usually just leave it capped off until it's time to fill it back up, but that's my personal opinion. So now I've got my 5mm extended I'm going to go up into the crankcase, chasing that second. All I did was crack it off. And now I'll go undo it by hand whilst getting hot oil on us. Hey, all right, everybody. Gosh, that's hot. I'm just catching it this time because in my previous video I let it I let it drop. So in my previous video, a few people asked me about whether there's a washer on this, and on my motorcycle there is no washer. I might look up the schematics just to see if it should have one, but on mine, now the other side of the motorcycle, just move my little bucket across. Let's get that K&N off. That should be loose enough. I'll just let it drain for a sec. There's an argument for putting tin foil on top of the catalytic converter, but a spray of brake cleaner will deal with that quite quickly. Gosh. Now I had my sump taken off the bike and redone 6 months ago under warranty, so I'm quite surprised to see oil under there still. During that process they didn't do an oil change. I guess they just recaptured the oil and put it back in the bike, because this is my high flow oil filter. I'm just kind of holding it like that so we can grab a little bit of oil off of it. I always find that odd. I know it saves them money and everything, but I find it odd when you have to do anything regarding sumps or oil and you just reuse it. Companies like BSA, for instance, when they did their health check recall, it was actually cost you more money to have the oil filter replaced, even though they had the bike apart and all the oil out of it. And the panel for the oil filter, they literally had to just pop it out, but it cost you more money to do that. Seems ridiculous. All right, I'm going to let that drip for 2 minutes. When it comes to greasing or oiling the O-ring on an oil filter, I do like the fact that High Flow have pre-lubed them. So that surface there is looking pretty mint. But what the mistake I've seen a lot, the technique I've seen a lot is people using the old oil to oil the ring, and you can, I don't see the problem in it myself, but you get a lot of people upset about it because you can introduce contaminants, but there's probably still oil and everything inside the engine anyway. What does it matter? That's an argument for the comments section. Me, I'd rather dip my finger in the fresh oil and lube it, or just buy one of these high flows that I might have called K&N earlier. Not keen on this, look. Do you see what happened there? Now, is there any plastic inside my oil filter now? Look at that. No. So pre-lubed by High Flow. Really are making a name for themselves in the industry, aren't they? So here's the crack. I know that this nut is only spot welded on, I get it. But I'm going to do it up with the nut, because what do you want? It has to be hand tight, and you notice where I'm holding the ratchet here? I'm done. it's intact, paintwork's all good. Otherwise, you've got, because there's nothing to grip onto, so you could possibly, but there's nothing to grip. And then for the tidying bit, now this is going to contaminate the oil, but it will evaporate, therefore it shouldn't mess with the quantity. Not that this is very scientific. And then what I'll do is I'll save the oil filter, and then that will go in a crusher and get crushed down with a load of others. And keep them upright so I don't spill them. And just as an interesting side note, see the kits you can buy if you want to replace the sump bungs. You get the inner with no crush washer, you get the outer with a crush washer, so maybe it shouldn't have one. Good. So now we know that, all we got to do is get this back into the motorbike without dropping it in there. No stress then. I think that's threading in beautifully. Yep. Get my ratchet on it and tighten it up. Change it to righty-tighty. Let's give it a little bit of a wipe. And I'm going to reuse that alley crush washer. I'm grabbing onto the splines of the T50 to help me rotate it, and holding it up with my fingers because, you know, that's what you do. T50's back on, set for righty-tighty. Gonna push this out of the way a little. And just for fun, I'm going to pour all the recovered oil into this Shell Advance, and on the other side it will show us, there we go, how much oil we've recovered. It's not an exact science, but I know how much we put in. So I put in 3 litres last year, and let's just see how much I recover. Now we get to see, and it is a strange one. Check it. 1, 2, 3. That's 3.5 litres. So now that begs the question, has BMW topped up the oil when they recovered my oil, when they worked on my bike? Did they top it up to 4 litres? But anyway, it answers the question that I'm not burning oil. I'm gaining oil, but then the last people to touch it was BMW Plymouth, so fair enough. That's good, I'm not burning oil. Whilst I'm finishing up, I'm just going to spray the underside of the bike. And then maybe I can get a better idea of where my oil leak is, if there's one at all. It'd just be mess from the last time someone looked at it. I find that hard to believe though. I mean, the F900R was originally marketed as having a dry sump lubrication system. That's exactly what my bike has. But it's now considered to have a wet sump system. So the engine's design has been modified and the dry sump oil pan has been removed. When it comes to my 2021 bike, it is clear that I am supposed to have 3 litres of oil in my motorcycle. No, no, this isn't scientific, but that's definitely 3.5 litres. There's probably some oil left in the filter, and there was probably some left in the crankcases, okay? So, with that revelation to one side, the last people to touch my bike was BMW. If that oil smelt of petrol, so you could say, oh, well, you got petrol in your oil, I would have smelt it, and it smells just like used oil. It doesn't smell particularly amazing, and it certainly doesn't stink of petrol. So we can rule that one out. Question is, am I putting 3 litres of oil in my bike? Am I supposed to put 3.5 litres of oil in my bike? Or, with the technical bulletins, as per my last video, it says here quite clearly that they've modified the engine and that a total of 4 litres of oil is allowed in the engine. Mine was part of this cut-off date, so I am a dry sump bike. So why do I have so much oil in the engine? Shall I just match it like for like? Shall I go for the 3.5 litres, bring this up to 3.5 litres and put that in my bike? Or do I stick to 3 litres? What do you think I'm gonna do? What would you do? What am I supposed to do, knowing that? I'm gonna top that up to 3.5 litres and bang it in my bike. Okay, I'm running 3.5 litres, 540 fully synthetic. I mean, why would BMW do me wrong, eh? Can you also get a photo? Can you stop it, get a photo? You got to ask yourself, why did I end up with so much oil in my bike? A BMW topping them up to 4 litres, and I burnt off half a litre. Is that possible? It's all these questions. I will phone BMW and see what they've got to say about it. I want to know. Not in a bad way, and it just, I'm curious, you know. So there we go, 3.5 litres in my bike now. Last year it was 3 litres, now 3.5. So that's my question to you all. Where do you live? What side of the fence do you live on? I've pulled 3.5 litres out of my F900R. The manual says it takes 3 litres with a filter change. And I've seen on some of the forums, the guys and girls that are doing theirs, 3.1 litre, 3.3 litre, it's totally acceptable. BMW are now saying it's a total of 4 litres is allowed in the engine. But they're also saying, when measuring the engine oil with a dipstick, it may seem low, but in fact be acceptable. This situation can occur shortly after the correct oil quantity was poured in, the engine run for a short time before measuring again. And that's BMW talking like that. So, where do you sit? So that's my question to you. Are you putting 3 litres of oil in your F900R, 3.5 litres like me, or are you putting 4 litres of oil in your F900R? Mine is a 2021. If you have a 2022, 3, 4, I'm guessing you are 4 litres of oil. But let me know in the comments, because I wouldn't mind a little bit of feedback, especially if you have a 2021 and you've done your own oil changes. What sort of levels are you getting out of your motorcycle? I will follow up. It's a bank holiday today when I film this. I will follow up with BMW and just ask them their thoughts on it. But absolutely 100%, the oil level has not risen because of petrol. It would have stunk. A half a litre of petrol, you'd absolutely know. I'd smell it a mile away, and that's not what I smell at all. And the oil came out pretty good. So, just as a quick reminder, my F900R, 6 months ago, went in, it had its oil pan resealed. And then it's come back and I've ridden it. I've done, I don't know, 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles. Then I've done my oil change, my yearly oil change, because when they did my sump under warranty, you don't get fresh oil or a filter. And suddenly I'm pulling out 3.5 litres of oil on my bike. So just for fun, I'm watching my old video back. And there we are, bringing it up. 3 litres and I stopped. So it was 3 litres I put in. It's always weird watching your old videos back on YouTube. That's the same can of oil. Very strange. Feels weird watching it. Got the same gloves though. Anyway, thanks for watching and let me know your thoughts. How much oil do you put in your F900R?